because we are going to complete everything. And sorry, previous class there were some issues because I was suddenly using my Windows system. There is no problem, but I don't know why the problem was happening, because my Mac keyboard was not working. So again, I'm back to my Mac, through which I generally do the streaming. And but we are doing it in a different time. So because I generally nowadays I'm seeing that I don't have a fixed time. A lot of work is there. Hello. So that's why it is there. Maybe next time onwards I'm going to do a 4 hour long thing, and everyone will be able to do that. 1 second. So um, 1 sec. I will start in 1 second. Let everybody join, and that meanwhile, and we'll have 1 to 1 point, maybe 1.5 hours and all. Okay, so 1 hour 15 minutes, till 1 hour 15 minutes we will be winding up at 10:45. 10:45 will be winding up. Okay, so that is there. And so let's get quickly started. So let me share my screen. Okay, and those who are not able to see now, they can watch the replays and all. Maybe I am going to give the certificate by Monday morning. So if you are watching, if you are like coming late on this channel and then watching it, you watch the whole video, fill the attendance form which will be given at the end. So let me type this also. So and then at the end, and then what you can do, you can fill the attendance form, because see, I am doing live today. It will get uploaded on my channel, but the problem is that the live chat will be available tomorrow only, so it will be there. Okay, so this is something which we have made last, and the forms we have made. Now we need to do is known as life cycle methods. Okay, life cycle methods, a very good topic. Life cycle methods are very important in class based, and so, we are going to soon start the hook base, and there also we have the life cycle methods. So I will have a Google Slides and React Slides. Okay, so let me take all of you through this, and let me open the slide, so it will be much better to see. So what are lifecycle method? Actually, what happens in React, you can control the different phases where your program is, mainly in the class-based component. Okay, mainly in the class-based component, you can have it at a different places. So first, one of them is a mounting. There are two important phases. One of them is mounting phase, and one of them is updating phase. Mounting phase is when an instance of a component is created and inserted into DOM, and when a component is being re-rendered and the result of change in either props or state. Unmounting is something which you are going to learn when you're going to learn hooks, and error handling is something which doesn't happen nowadays. So what is this mounting phase? Mounting and updating are something which you're going to learn now, but we're going to see a more practical example later on in hooks also. So what is this mounting? So theoretical is okay, but what I'm going to see, my demo form is also there. So demo form is open. Let me show 1 second. See, my demo form is open here. I'm not interacting with it right now. I'm not interacting with it. Okay, so this got loaded, and right now there are some jobs which will run, we are going to soon see, and they form a base of the mounting phase. So constructor runs and all those things we're going to see. So when I'm not touching anything, when the state is not changing, the DOM just got rendered. But the moment I change it to React or write something here, what happens, we all know what happens that this component get re-rendered, because the this dot set it get re-rendered. When it get re-rendered, then uh, means it get re-rendered, then a different set of method runs. So that is all about lifecycle method. Okay, right now we're only seeing two methods, render and constructor, but there are some other methods also. What are they? Let us understand. Okay, so and we'll see a practical example, of course. Slides are there. Okay, slides are there. Then so these are some of the methods are there. And okay, so mounting lifecycle methods, there are four methods. Constructor, we know constructor. Static get derived state from props, render, and component did mount. So the thing is that static get derived state from, we don't use that much. But render we know what is render, and constructor. Component did mount, again we don't know. Component did mount is something which is very very important. We're going to see that. Then let's go through all of this method. A special function which has been called whenever a new component is been created. A new component is created. The constructor is perfect for initializing state and binding event handler. So it's a special function when a new component is created, like it is called from app.js, perfect for initializing state and binding event. We have seen that this dot state and binding event handler, this dot function equal to this function dot bind. Do not do HTTP request from the constructor. Yeah, we should not do. And need a special function supervisor. This is required to have access to this dot props in a component. Okay. So this dot props, we get access to this dot props only because we have this superclass can set state directly with this dot state only in the constructor. Rest of the place we have to do this dot set state. Okay, and then the get data state from this is a really used lifecycle method. And when you're going to go, see hooks, you're going to see the lifecycle methods are being converted into hooks with a use effect hook. There also we don't have this thing. Okay, so some of these things are there in class based, but React also don't use that. And in my experience, I have not used that anytime. Okay, so we're not going to learn much about it. Only we're going to see that okay, it is there. Then there is render method. It is the only required method. Read props and states and return JSX. Okay, it is the only required method. Read props and state and return JSX. Don't change state or interact with the DOM or do HTTP request from render. Okay, it is the only required method. Okay, then because constructor is also not required. This is a very important method. Component did mount. This method will be called only once it has been invoked after the components and its child components are rendered in the DOM. Okay, so that is it. Perfect place to interact with the DOM or do HTTP request. Okay, so that is there. Then okay, so this is done. Now let us create one example and all. So I will go here and the first thing which I'm going to create, maybe I will make it a bit smaller because I need the more real estate here. Okay, so here I'll go. This all I will close and I will create a parent life cycle.js and RCC parent life cycle. Then here I'll do a const constructor and name and static set derived state from props and props comma state is there. And okay, we'll have a lot of console.logs so that we can understand what is it. Okay, let me first write them out, then I will do the console.log return null. Then here component did mount. So we have this lifecycle methods like this, and render is there. Okay, so render is there, and in render I will show h1 and not show this. I have a state. So what I'm going to do, this dot state dot name, this dot state dot name I have done. Now let us have some console logs here. So console dot log. Okay, one sec. Let me have all of these things here, 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 and so we want to see how the flow works. I will going to show a much more practical example later on when we're going to do hooks. Okay, parent lifecycle stuff constructor. This will have a parent lifecycle stuff React whatever get derived state from props. This will have a component did mount. This will have a render, and it is like this. Okay, so I'll save it. Okay, parent lifecycle method is like this. Now we need to see how it is working. Okay, so first thing I'll open the console, because we need to see what the flow is, and I will go here and do a parent lifecycle method, and let me cut it out, save it. See, this is how it is working. Constructor, then get derived state from props, then render at the end component demand. Component demand is a very important method. We do API calls from here because it runs after everything is loaded in the component. So component demand is very important. Hope I am my voice is clear today. One sec. So not many people are there, but let me see. Okay. So I think my voice is clear today. Okay. So I will also write it if someone comes. Please confirm if my voice is clear. So please confirm that. So as I have to, as we saw, this is how the mounting phase run. Mounting phase, but we'll create a child component also and see if we have a child component, then what happens. So that child component we are going to create. So I'm going to come here and do a child life cycle.js, child lifecycle.js, and rcc, and support default child lifecycle. And so what I'm going to do here, all of these things, I'm going to create from here, but I'm going to change it. Okay, so I'm going to change it to this and replace it, save it. Now I'm going to call this child lifecycle method from inside here. So let us call this, so for this I want a fragment here. Fragment is there, then this will be child lifecycle like this, and let me clear it. And the moment I'll save it, you'll see both of the things. So parent lifecycle constructor run, then get derived state from props run, then render run, then constructor get derived state from prop, child is running. At the end, component did mount of child is running. At the last parent, component did mount is running. So after everything ran. So this is the best place to do the API call. If you're doing any API call, you should do it in a higher component. That is the reason. So we're done with this. Now we are going to learn the updating lifecycle method. So what are the updating lifecycle method? Let me again show the slideshow. Updating lifecycle methods are static get derived state from props again. There is a should component update, there is a render, there is a get snapshot before update, and there is a component data update. One very important thing to notice here is that there is no constructor, there is no component did mount, which is a very important thing to understand here in the updating lifecycle method. So updating lifecycle method happens when our state or props get changed. State, how does state get changed? The moment I click something, I write something in the input box, the state gets changed because it re-renders the React component. Okay, the state gets changed because it re-renders the React component, and that is how it will get run. Okay, so now get data set again, we know what it is. Should component update was sometime used around 2016, but nowadays nobody uses anyways nowadays everybody uses hook based React. Okay, and it was for performance optimization, but there are other ways to do performance optimization. I'm going to show those ways. Okay, then there is a render only required method and all those things is there. Then there is a get snapshot before update called right before the changes from DOM, and again it is not used, so I'm not going to read anything. As a component did update is a very important method called after the render is finished in the re-render cycle. Okay, re-render cycle is finished. Uses snapshot from above get snapshot before update and whatever. So that is not important, but it is actually equivalent to component did mount. What is in the mounting phase? So the mounting phase, in the updating phase, the component did mount doesn't run. That's the problem we're going to see later on a very practical example when you're going to see that it doesn't work. Okay, so that is there, and this is done. That's there is a unmounting thing which we are not going to see right now. We are going to see when you're going to do hooks. Okay, so that is there. So I am going to come here and I'm going to update all those new functions I'm going to do. So here I'm going to do, and I'm going to have a should component update and console.log. Okay, console.log. I'm doing this. I'll do it soon. From there, I'll copy. Then another is get snapshot before update. Okay, it's showing me, and it has got prev props, comma. Although we are not going to use it much, prev state and again, and then component did update like this, and I can still be there. So let us add some of these things here. So console logs here, so that we can understand how it is coming here, 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 and okay. So there are some things here. First thing is this is component did update, and the other thing is that get a snapshot video update should return something. Most probably it should return null. If you're doing nothing, it should return null. And should component update. Okay, this is also I should, when I copy paste it, sometimes you forgot things. Okay, so again this one should component update. And the other thing is that here we have to return true. Okay, because or else it doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't work, so I'll save it. Okay, and now I will also, okay, this updating lifecycle method doesn't happen unless the state is changed. So we need to change the state. We have a state thing here and we're going to change it. Okay, so we are going to have a button here. Okay, so button, and this button will be change state. Okay, some people have come, so please confirm if my voice is clear and all. Okay, so if you are there, please do confirm if my voice is clear. Okay, so change state, I have this button change state, and on click equal to this, and this dot set state, and name is twd, name is twd. Okay, change state. So when I do these changes, the main thing is that all of these things, this lifecycle methods, updating lifecycle method will run. So that is the main thing. Okay, so that is there. Now we are also going to have all these three new methods in this thing. Component did mount, we'll have these things here, and control F, and this is like this, save it and save it. So we have all these three things. Now I'll go here and refresh it. So right now the methods which are run, they are actually your mounting lifecycle methods. So they are not updating lifecycle method because the state is not changed. See, we have a constructor also and we have component did mount also. Now I will cut it. Now I will going to change the state now, and click on it, change the state. See, now there is no component did mount. Component did mount is here, but it is not run. You cannot see anywhere. There is no constructor. So it is like the get derived state from props should component update render, get derived state from props on child should component update render, and at the end component did update and component did update of child and parent is run. And one thing I will tell, only this component did update is important in this. Okay, render is okay. Render you're going to see in functional component. We have return, which is like it is like render only. Okay, so function component we have return. We don't have a render, but it will behave like render when we are going to do hook based thing. Okay, so that is there, and this is done. Now we are going to, again I have told, I'm going to show the lifecycle methods again. Okay, so that is there. Now we are going to do a thing known as refs. We're going to do something known as refs. Refs are also known as references. See, in React, and we are going to use this thing in React, what happens, the way we interact with mostly with React is like we have a state and we change it. Then something known as virtual DOM is there in React as a theoretical concept. It changes the appearance here. So that is how React works. And we generally don't have access to the DOM programming like document.get element by id, document.query select, all those things we don't have access, but sometimes we need those access. And actually React is from 2015, but JavaScript from 1995. And there was a thing which was very popular before React, which is jQuery, and there are some other JavaScript things were there for 20 years before React came. Okay, so there are a lot of libraries were created in jQueries and all those are still not there in React. Although React have taken over the world for the past means more than 7 years, so almost everything is there in React, but sometimes some things might not be there in React. So for that, if you want to use those libraries, then you also need refs. So when you're going to go to a big production project, you're going to understand. And refs is also another way to do this, like this whole thing, like this demo form. We are going to do this thing. You can do it with refs also. Although Facebook tells don't to do it like this. Facebook tells okay, don't use refs when you don't require it, like it slows down React. But I have not seen it slowing down, because it is a slowing down in a very big project. It doesn't slow down. I've seen people using refs in the normal thing, but Facebook tells that okay, if you are going to use some DOM functionality which is not there in React, then only use refs. So we're going to see both of the things. We're going to change actually this form, some part of this form, by using refs, not by using a traditional way like this.state, then on change handler and all those things. Okay, so that is something which you're going to do. So let us do that. And for that, I'm going to have another component. So refs demo.js rcc refs is there. Refs demo. Refs demo I have imported. So the tips is that you do more React, you do more projects in React. From a channel, you do some more projects in React. You know React, then learn Redux. You know Redux. Okay, so you know Redux, then learn React. All of those things are there on a channel. Redux I have not done a lot of time, but Redux is something which is required, and which in my paid course I generally teach. But right now I don't have time for YouTube. But I have done 5-day courses earlier. You can go through that Redux and ping me in LinkedIn. I will give you the exact path in React. What projects you have to do, what you have to follow, and all those things. So tips are that you have to practice, practice, and practice. You have to do projects, and if you want the correct path, I can give you the correct path. Just ping me on LinkedIn, and I will give you the correct path. Okay. So that is there. So refs demo I have done. Now, as I've told, we need to do something like how to do it here. So for that, I will do one thing. I will take this form. In fact, I'll take this form, and I will have this form. Okay, but then I'll have a R const constructor is required, but we don't have the concept of state in refs. We don't have the concept of state, so I'll remove it. The concept of state is not there. So how do I do all these things in a with through a refs? Okay, so first thing which I'm going to do here is like refs is done by this dot. So I have two things. One is this text area, one is this. So text area is like username. So maybe I will do a user ref. Anything you can take. User ref is equal to react dot create ref. React dot create ref is a function like this. I'll do. Then the other thing which I'm going to do is this comment ref. Okay, comment ref is like this react dot create ref comment ref. Then we don't have the concept of this value on change. All of these are React concept. Actually on change is happening. All of these things are not required. All of these things are not required, but we need this handle submit we do need. And here we were just console logging it, so I will copy it and handle. So we don't have a concept of a state, so I will remove that concept. So but how do I access this value? How do I access this value? Let me save it. How do I access this value? So I access this value through refs. Okay, not through that value and on change. No, I will access this through ref equal to this dot user ref and ref equal to this dot comment ref, this dot user ref and this dot comment ref. Okay, so that is there and save it. Now let us see here and come here and do it, and I am able to write anything here. Okay, I am able to write anything here. So see, we don't have that issue anymore, that value and your on change, all those issues doesn't have. So what does ref does? Ref does it gives a deep access to this anything, and it is not always the input. You can give it to anything, input, text area. It is not for form solvers. You can give it to anything. So that is okay. But how do I get the value here? So anyways, we have uncomplicated a lot of logic. All this logic is not required. Okay, so that is there. But how do I get the value? How do I get the value? Then I can send it to the backend and whatever is there I want to do. So how do I get that? So I get that by console.log. So this keyword is used again because this is a class based thing. So this dot user ref dot current dot value, this dot user ref dot current dot value, and I will do a space here, and maybe not a space, maybe a comma like this. I will do plus this dot comment ref dot current dot value. Do save it. Now I'll go here, inspect console. This is good and submit it. See, I'm going to get the value like this. So this is so easy. But Facebook team says, okay, don't do it like this. Always try to do it like this. It will slow down your bigger project. But I know one thing, it doesn't slow down the smaller project, even mid-level project, like with having 1 lakh lines of code. I've seen in production code like this, because this is much more easier than demo ref. But what Facebook says, so you want to access some special features, then do it. So there is a special feature in the DOM. That special feature like is that, see, that is already only available in the DOM. So that is like this: when this form is loaded, I want this thing to be blinking like this. So this is through a special feature of DOM, which is known as a focus function, which is not there in React, but there is DOM. It is there in DOM. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a it in component did mount. So again, a practical example of component did mount. Why I'm doing it in component did mount? Component did mount runs once the component is mounted on everything is in DOM before I interact with it. So at that moment, I want this to run. After interacting with it, the component did mount doesn't run, because from the next time onwards, component did update run. Okay. This dot user ref dot current dot focus, current dot focus. Focus is the method. First I'll save it, and I will refresh. See, it is coming here. It is coming here by default. It is coming here. I have not done anything, but it is coming. So this is how. So this saves one of the user step. Okay, so or else you have to manually go and then have to do an number do, and then this is good. Commit, and this is good is printing fine. Okay, so that is there, and this is refs is done. So the next thing which we are going to do is known as a context API. See, in React, as Suraj was also asking, one of the major problem is what to learn after React. Okay, so React, the way in production project or any big project you go, the way to pass data is not that much good. It's like props, you're passing the data. It's not that much good. If you want to pass the data in the opposite direction, method as props. In bigger project, it creates a lot of complication, and to solve that complications, we generally do, okay, let us see a problem. See a problem first. Okay, the problem is, suppose I want to pass the data from app component to component C, and in the structure is like component A, component B are coming in between it. So I want to pass the data to component C, but component A and B doesn't need the data. So the so the normal way is through props, passing through props from app component to component A to component B props and components, although they don't require. Okay, and suppose there are not only two components, there are 100 components between them, then what? Then also I have to pass the data. I have a problem, I have to pass the data, and this problem is known as prop drilling. So to solve this problem, there are two things are there in React. One is to create a central storage, central state or storage, whatever you say, and that is what Redux does. So what it does, it create a central storage like here, and if I want to send some data, I will send to this that data, and that data get updated, and that can be used in any component. So that is sometimes a complicated thing, and that's why it again takes 5 days to teach, and I have a separate series on my channel. That is one thing. And the other thing is like a context API, which is also recently released by React. Maybe I think 2 years back it was released. And what happens in the context API, we're going to see, means that is a different approach altogether. And with that approach also, we can directly pass from here to here. But Redux is required. If you want to get a React job, Redux is required. Okay. So that is there. So we are going to learn context API now. So context API we are going to learn. So to learn context API, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to come in as RC components. I'm going to create a new file, child.js, not JD. I don't know what is JD. Child.js. I'll do, and RCC. And we are going to see refs and context API again in hooks. Okay. Export default child. This is there. One is child. Okay. So then after that, I am going to go to parent.js, and here also I'll have RCC. Parent. And this parent will call the child. Okay. And so we are going to do something like this. Okay. So then I'm going to have a grand parent.js and RCC. Parent. And just save it. Parent is there. So now, and now this grandparent will be called from here. Grandparent. So what is happening? This app is calling the grandparent, grandparent is calling the parent, parent is calling the child, and the child there is h1, which has been shown. So now, if I want to pass some data from this from app to child, I have to pass a props here, then I have to pass a props here, that same props here, then pass same props here, then it will go to the child. So I don't want to do like that. We know how to do that like that. So we are going to use a new concept known as context here, context API. We are going to do, and for that, we will create a new file. Again, I'm going to show a different type in hooks. Okay, so here I will come here and do a user context.js, and here I'll do a IMR. IMR is a shortcut for import React from there. It is required sometimes. Earlier it was there in everything, but nowadays it is not there. Then I'll have a const user context equal to react dot create context like this, and then const user provider equal to user context dot provider, and const user consumer. Okay, there is a concept of provider and consumer in context, so we're going to use that user context dot consumer export user provider comma user consumer, user provider comma user consumer is there. So what is the concept of provider and consumer? So concept of provider and consumer are like when from where we want to send the data, we'll use the provider, and from where we want to receive the data, we'll use the consumer. So from here, I want to send some data. So I will go here and do a user provider. I will import it, and then I go down and here and here, and user provider value equal to, not values, value equal to Nabendu. I have done. Okay, so this is what I'm passing. This is the data which I'm passing. And one more thing, value is a keyword here. In the props, what happens? I can give any props, but value is a keyword here. Okay, value Nabendu I'm passing, and this is something which I want to get the data. This is how you pass. So not that much simple as a props, a bit different kind of thing. Okay, you have to create a context, and you have to wrap the component in which you are going to use it. I mean, not okay. Okay, so I'm wrong. My bad. Not wrap the component in which you have to use it. You have to wrap the central component. The main component here is the grandparent. Okay, you have to wrap that. Now we can get this data Nabendu just like a props. If I have to pass the props, I can pass it to them. This data I can directly use it in the child. And there are two ways to do it. First, I'm going to tell the complicated way, and that is something which you should not use that. And then I'm going to show the easy way, because this pattern is a bit complicated. Okay, and React earlier used to have a lot of complicated pattern, but now slowly everything is been solved, and less complications are there. So here what happens? Okay, so I will have a user consumer is there, then I will have a user like this, and then I have done it opposite. Okay, user like this, and then I will have a return, and then h1 child component, and then h3 hello user, hello user. So this is how you this is a definitely complicated thing. You have to wrap it. Then this pattern is known as a render props pattern. I'll save it. See, hello Nabendu is coming, means it is passing. But this is a complicated pattern. You're going to see another pattern, but for that pattern, what I have to do, I have to do a export default user context. Export default user context. I have to means export the complete thing. Then I can do it in the again, the provider will not change. I can do it in the child also, like this, getting with a new way. But I'm going to do it in the parent. I'm going to do it in the parent. So parent, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to come and do a static context type equal to user context. Yeah, then one parent welcomes this dot context. Although, but there are a lot of things which are there here, like keywords. I don't like it much, but in hooks there is much more easier way. So the static context type is a keyword, and whenever I do the this dot context, it will get like Nabendu. Okay, so this is how you do it with that easier way. You decide which one is easier for you. So that is there, and provider doesn't change, consumer change. Okay, so this is there. Now we're going to learn the last thing in your okay. So in okay, one more thing I'll do before telling the last thing, because hooks, I want to do the hooks in a different project. A different project I want to do. So I will do a duplicate tab. Okay, series dot. So generally it takes some time, so that's why I'm doing it. So we're going to do we're going to do the last topic in the class base, and I'll do the run the npx command by the time this will come complete. Npx create React app, and I'm putting the code. Yesterday code also I put. Okay. So I will create a hooks. So let it be created, and meanwhile I'll go back here and we'll do this thing. Okay. So the last topic, the most important topic of React is how to do the API calls with React. We have seen to do the API calls with Java. Just maybe I'm not. Hari have told how to do that. Hari have taken 10 days of awesome JavaScript stuff on the channel. Please check the series. 10 days of awesomeness is there. Okay. So if you want to learn, just see those series. Okay. So that is there. So again, we can do through fetch API, but there is another thing in React known as Axios. That is something which I'm going to tell in the hooks. Okay. Axios is something which I'm going to tell in the hooks, but let us first do it through the your what we are going to do, we are going to do it through fetch API only. Okay, so what is the file which I'm going to create? I'm going to create a file known as post list.js, and which endpoint I'm going to hit? I'm going to hit the same endpoint JSON placeholder. Okay, I'm going to tell one more thing here. There is two files here. Okay, so where is this? List post and post item. So earlier what we are doing, this list post, I've hard coded something from here, and we're just sending it there, and there we're styling it and showing it. Right now I also send it there, but we will not hard code the data. We'll get the data from the API endpoint. This is how it really works. See, this code can get you a job. This is the very important code, the most important code in React, because the task of a front-end engineer 90% of the time is to get the data from an API endpoint and show it on the screen. And maybe you need to show it in a way in which the designer gave you the thing. But the main thing is that only. So hit an API endpoint which the backend engineer will give and show it on the screen. So that is like that. So post list I have done. Then here RCC. So generally I take career related questions on the Wednesday calls. So please come there or ask me on LinkedIn. I generally don't have time at this time. We are saying it takes how to join backend to front end. Backend to front end. If you're a backend engineer, one thing is for sure you are a much better coder, because backend requires a lot of coding. So it won't be tough for you. Okay. So it is not like that. How can you join and all? So there are enough of opportunities in the world. Always there is one thing I always tell people. There is you can always take one step back. If you want a really badly, you want a job, you can take always one step back. And if you one step back means you can get paid less, and you can go to a startup, and in startup you can work at anything. Like you can take a salary cut, and that is one thing. Or you can if you're working in a service company, you can try it in your own company. Everybody loves people who learn, because there are 90% people in means I've seen in the most of the companies, they don't learn. They whatever they have done, they will stuck with that. So that is there. If you're learning, your company will be more than happy to send you to a front end job from a back end job. Okay, but front end engineers, there is another thing which is there, which is CSS should be very strong for a front end engineer. So that is the thing which the back end engineer don't like, but CSS should be very strong. So go through a CSS series, which Mosam is also doing right now, and go through a front end mentor challenges and all, which Mosam, I think again next week also he's going to do. He's our CSS experts. Go through that. It is very important for a front end engineer to know CSS, because at the end of the day, some designer is going to give you some crazy design which you have to create it. Okay, so let us not waste much time and do this thing. So post list. So first thing is that I'm going to hit this API endpoint. So I'm going to get the data as this array. I'm going to get this data. So first I'll do r const, and here I will have a post, and it will be an empty array, because I'm getting an array back. So I'm doing it like this. Okay, so that is there. Then API call. Where do we do the API call? We do it through component did mount, as I've told earlier, because first let the whole component be rendered, then we'll do it. Okay, so I'll do a component did mount. Okay, and then like this. Let me one sec. Let me see if someone is asking something. Okay, no, nothing. Okay, so this I've done component did mount, and as I've told, this is one of the most important code which can get you a job. One of my students got a job because of this code, just because of this code. He know how to do API call in React, and he got a top job for that. He was already a JavaScript developer, but with this code he got a React job. Okay, that's like amazing. This code is like amazing. So const URL equal to like this endpoint, I will hit, and then I'll do a const rest. So I'm using a fetch API. We are going to learn how to use access also later on. Await fetch URL, and then so const post equal to await rest.json, like this, rest.json, and this is how we get it. Okay, but I'm using await, so I have to use async somewhere. So I will use the async in the component mount. At the end of the component did mount is also a function, so I'm using async here. Okay, so I'm doing console.log of posts here. Okay, and then here, let me save it. And I'm showing this. Okay, I will actually comment out this thing because I'm going to give this code again. So this is some important code, so I'm commenting out this, and then I'll do a post list, save it. So let me come here. Now I'm not shown the data yet, so I will just inspect and see if I am getting the data. Yes, I am getting the data array of objects back, and just now I'm getting the array of object back. I have to show it. So how do I show it and all? So I am using this state thing. So with this state, what I am going to do, I am going to do it as this dot set state, and it takes an object. Post, this post is equal to post, post, this one. And I don't know whether you can see there is a color difference is there. So this is like a dark blue, and this is like a light kind of, I don't know, white or blue. So actually this post is this post, and this post is this post. And there is a thing in ES6 which Hari might have told, and that is known as I don't know what it is told called right now. So okay, let me also say what it is called, because I want to tell what it is called. It is called, okay, it is called object literal extension. Okay, object literal extension is there. What happens with that, I can remove this thing when the key and value is same. I can remove this thing. This is the shortcut. Okay, so I've done this thing. So I am in my post now. I have those array of object. Now how to show it? So I will show it with this way. Okay, this way, because I can pass it to here and it will show everything. So I'll come here, and this return I will say like this, and I will do a import this post item, save it, but it is showing that oh, can't result styled component. Did okay, and post is not defined. That is okay. I think I have not done one important thing here. npm I have to do, I think I removed it all. npm I, see that error is gone. Okay, so because I was using style component here, post is not defined. Post is not defined. Why post is not defined? Post is not defined because this is not post. This is this dot state dot post. Okay, so instead of doing it here, I will do again destructuring const posts equal to this dot state. Like this, I can do a destructuring, save it. Now see, it is coming, and all, not 2 3 4 5 is like this. It will show all the 100, all the 100 different things, and this is how you make a paypal. Okay, so this is how it is done. Okay, so that is done. Now we will quickly do one more thing here. This is a very important thing. This is a get API. I'm getting the data from here. How to do a post API to take the data from a user and then to show it. Okay, so in this API, if you want to do, you can do a post API also here. You need to send the user ID, title, and the body. So how to do that, and from where to do that? Okay, so let us do it through your demo form. So like a demo form only we are going to do. So let us create a new form component, and post form dot js and rcc is there, and again this is a very important code. Okay, post form I will do. Now I need to have a form, because when you send data to the backend, you need a form. So, and in the form I should have user ID title. So what I am going to do, this demo form, let take these things. Let take these things and let take this thing. Uploaded the code, it is in the description, you will find it is on my GitHub. It is on my GitHub. So daily I'm putting it on the description, the GitHub link. So please see yesterday's also, it will be there. So every day's code I'm uploading it on GitHub. Okay, so button is there, and so as I need actually 3 of them. So first thing which I need is the user ID. So I will take this user ID, this dot state dot user ID, handle user, maybe ID change. Okay, then we'll have a, let me have a r const also, and here I'll have this user ID which will be empty string. Okay, so this will be there. Okay, this was, maybe I didn't miss anything. No. The second thing is that the title is required, so I will take the title also. Title I'll put here, title, not username, it is user ID, title, and title, handle, title change. Then the last one is the body, because we have to pass these 3 things. Okay, so body, 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 and body change. Okay, body change is there. So body is there. Oh, okay, and one thing I forgot, this should be empty string here, and comma, this should be body, like this it should be there. Okay, so these 2 things I have done. Now what, then now, okay, so now let's go back to the demo form, and I will take all of these things because I need all of these things. Although the name is a bit changed, so I will come here and do this all. So first one is handle user ID change, and this will be user ID. Second one is handle title change. So handle title change, this will be, hopefully this copy pasting I always do some problem do some things like which some errors I always do. So let's like I don't want to do any error, because we will start with hooks also. Okay, so handle body change, after this handle body change, okay, do a bit of hooks, tomorrow we'll complete it. Okay, so this is done, and then at the end of this dot state is there, hopefully this will work. So let me go to the here and do a post form. I have done, cut it, save it. Now I'll go here and do a inspect and console. Let me see whether it is coming. So yeah, it is coming like this, it is coming whatever I write it. Now the main thing is that not like this means, but how I want to pass the data. So in handle here, what will happen in the handle submit, in the post form, you're going to do some thing like a different way of fetch API. Okay, fetch API is a bit complicated when we do the post. So this is a post because we want to send this data to a database, to the API endpoint, and it will get saved in the database. Okay, so like that. So what do we need to do? Not console.log. You know what is the console.log? This is the state. So we have to do this. First thing is that we need to have a URL, and the post URL also from this JSON placeholder is the same endpoint. Okay, so we'll have this, but we need to do some more code here. Const settings equal to, we have this thing, then method is post, comma, header is, so we have to pass this header, and here accept application is JSON, comma, content type is same thing, is application JSON. Then what happens here inside this, I have to pass another thing which is like a body, and in the body I have to pass that this dot state. This dot state is the object, which is a good thing here. Okay, so but I have to pass it as a JSON dot stringify, stri, JSON dot stringify it makes a string. So this I'll do, and this dot state I'll do. Now I got a body. So settings and URL we have. Now how to send the data? Actually, we have to send the data like this only. Okay, so how like this? So I will, after this setting, I will come and do a const res equal fetch URL. But since it's a post API, I have to do the settings also. I have to pass the settings also. Settings have constant the header and the body. See, this part of the code is a boilerplate code. You have to write every time. The body is something which again you have to pass the state, like an object you have to pass. Okay, so settings you have to do, settings I have to pass. Okay, and this I will call it as data, not post, as data. And it's a post API. You don't need to have show the data back. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to have console.log so that I can know my data was successfully saved in the database. So console.log of the API data, I'll do save it. Okay, wait, it is giving me error because what happened, wait, I'm using what async, I have forgot to do async event, save it. Now it will be okay. So I'll delete it, then user ID maybe 23, react, this is ReactJS, and I will submit it. Okay, oh, I think I have done something really crazy wrong. This is user ID, title, and body. User ID, title, and body. I know what I have done wrong. User ID is there, title is there, body is there, but okay. Changing to this, and this. Okay, I think they are returning back the data like this only right now. Okay, so this is like the data is saved. Okay, at the, so they're returning back this only right now. So they also keep on changing. Okay, they're telling that okay, at 101 ID it is saved. So 101 ID it is saved means there are actually only ID till 100, means it got saved successfully. You can see this in the network tab also. So network tab also there is no error. Generally there is some error in the network tab. Okay, if it is not done. Okay, so that is there, and no error is there, means it is working fine. Okay, so that is there. body JSON string if this dot state and all these things are okay. And okay, so we are done here with the class based React. Now what we are going to do here, we are going to see the, and as I told earlier, I'm going to give all these things. So we're going to see the functional React, and for that I've created a new app. So with this command which I've ran, and now I'll do a cd hooks, okay, and then started with the code, and then I'll do npm start and hooks. As I've told, hooks, okay. So what is this hooks? So hooks is a new way to do React. Okay, so most of you I might be knowing what is hooks, and just learn it. Like if you're going to work in a new React.js project, you're going to use this hooks. So hooks also, first we're going to see with hooks what happened. The state and the lifecycle method. The in simple definition, the state and the lifecycle method were introduced in functional component because it was very difficult. It was not we are not able to use those concept here, and React is slowly moving to a functional component because class-based component, first thing, they're complicated, so React doesn't want people to use complicated things. Second, it was doing some issues also, complicated because this keyword is very complicated state, and some issues also internally for React because JavaScript is originally not a class-based language, so it was doing some issues there. That is the reason we have moved there. So we are going to see two main things. One is how to use the state in a functional component through hooks, and how to use lifecycle method in a functional component through hooks. And if you're going to start a new project today, you're not going to use the class-based component which I've told till now. You're going to be a hook-based thing. But then also we are going to first create a class-based component, and then we are going to convert it to a hook-based. Okay. So src, I will go and do a components like this, and then class counter.js, and then I will do, so we are going to create a class-based component first, then I'm going to convert it. Okay, so then I'm going to do export default class counter or const. We'll have a simple counter like, okay, this count, and then, so this is something which you have already seen. We are seeing it again. Okay, I'm going to have a button here. Button is like count is this dot state dot count, and button is on click equal to, but I'll make it here only. So how I will make it here, this I'll do, and this dot set state count is this dot state dot count plus 1. So like this, I have this is a normal thing, like not a very, so we know how it will work, and this will re-render again. So because I'm changing it, I could have used another function outside, but I'm making it here only. Okay, so that is there, and maybe make it a bit smaller. Okay, so I just have to go to the app.js, and here one more thing we are going to insert. We are going to end soon, so why not me give the mark your attendance here, mark your attendance here. So here in the app.js we'll go, and then class counter like this. Let's save it. So it will show this count and it will increase. So not an issue, it is increasing. So that is not an issue. Okay, so now I want to convert it into hook based things. So how hook based things I'm going to do? So I will do a hook counter dot js rafe again. So here how to use the class based, how to use your class, your state concept. So state concept, we don't have this dot state here, this keyword is not there in a function component. So how do we use it? So we use it through a specially made, and this is option is only available in React version 16.8 and above, and 16.8 was released in 2020. So you're creating a new React app, it will be there because right now 18 is going on. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is const count comma set count equal to use state. So this is what, this is array destructuring I'm using. Here I'll pass it as 0. Here I'll pass as 0. Then in this return, let me write the whole of the logic, then I will tell what I am doing. And it is like button and hook count is count. Button is like on click is equal to set count is count plus 1. That count is count plus 1. Okay, so if I do it, and I will have this hook counter here. Save it, and hook counter is there, and it is also working fine. So how is it working, and what is it like? Okay, let me show one thing. I mean, let me do both of them side by side. Okay, so see, this first thing is that what is this thing like? This is a array destruction. Use state, through use state hook we can use the state concept in a function component, which was not possible earlier. So here this count variable is the count is 0. So here also the count will be, initial value will be 0. But there is one more thing here which is like a bit different here, and which is like this. See, this object is there, this dot state is the object, but here so we're going to end after this, but we're going to learn a bit more of state tomorrow, and we're going to complete this. Hooks is a very small thing. Okay, so this is like 0, this is like a number. Okay, so that is a difference. Then what is the set state? Here we have this dot set state. Set count is equivalent to this dot set state, exactly equivalent to that. But and we can directly update the counter, count plus 1. Here we have to do the count is like this because we have pass a object, because this dot state was an object. Here I'm directly doing like this, and here also I'm directly using the count like this, not this dot state, although it's a state variable. So but we can do it, and again this gets re-rendered. When the render gets re-rendered, it is also getting re-rendered finally when we change the state. That logic doesn't changes. But set count is like not a generic thing, like here this dot set state is generic. So here what happens, if I want to have some other state, I have to go here and do name and this, and then I have to again create something, and but I will use the this dot set state only there. And but here if I want to do, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do a name set name, and the initial is like this, and then I will change the thing with the set name, change the thing with set name, not like this. Okay, so here this set name, set count, they are set state only, but we have different functions here. And in class base we have only one thing, which is this dot set. This is a very important concept is there. Okay, so like this is there. I will revert back this, and as I've told, I will send all this. GitHub will be there in the description. Okay, it will be there in the description, and you will get it all. And this new GitHub also will be, you will get, and the old GitHub also will be there in the LinkedIn and all. It will be there. So with this, we'll end today's stream. And as I've told, we are going to complete the React hooks tomorrow, which is the main thing. After this, what after this, please do Redux. that is from the channel. After this, do some React projects from the channel. After this, do one project from the channel. So all those things you can do it. You can ping me on LinkedIn, and I'll go give you the exact playlist and all. Please do ping me on LinkedIn. Okay. So please do like the video and please do subscribe if you liking what we are doing. And today at 3:45 we'll have the CSS class also.